Hi everyone, Sumit Chandra this side, and I welcome you to our channel Solution Bridge Network and one-stop solution for all your Power Platform tutorials. In today's video, we are going to build a very useful real-world automation solution using Microsoft Power BI, Power Automate, Microsoft Excel, and SharePoint. In this video, I will show you export data automatically from this Power BI report, store the exported data inside an Excel template, automatically apply conditional formatting. So for that, in this template, at first we will apply conditional formatting and then save the file into SharePoint like this. So here you can see we have extracted data and applied formatting as well. It will help us to create a brand new formatted Excel report during every flow execution. Now, one of the biggest challenges with Power BI export automation is formatting. Normally, when data gets exported, formatting is lost, colors disappears, and users end up manually formatting the report every single time. So in this video, I will show you a very smart and practical workaround where Power Automate inserts data into a pre-formatted Excel template and Excel automatically applies all the formatting dynamically. This is extremely useful for finance report, management reports, operational reports, audit reports, KPI reports, or any scenario where business users still prefer Excel outputs. So without wasting any time, let's get started. Here you can see we have this Power BI report and we want a extraction of this report into an Excel and we want to apply certain dynamic formatting. So let me go to the Power Automate flow. I already created the flow and I will explain each and every step in details so that we can wrap up the video in short span of time and we will cover the entire process in very details. Reoccurrence. So now I just put an interval 1 and I set up the frequency on monthly. So here I am creating a scheduled cloud flow. So based on your requirement, you can create either a scheduled flow or you may create an automated flow as well based on your requirement. Also, you can define the frequency as per your business requirement. Then in the next step, we are adding this action, run a query against a dataset. And here we are selecting our workspace and the dataset name. In the query text, we have the query. We need not to write this query manually. How we can generate this query? Let me show you. I am in Power BI report now and this is web version of the Power BI report. Even you can perform this in the desktop version as well. And I am in the edit mode. So you can come to view. In view, you will get performance analyzer. From performance analyzer, you can click on start recording, then refresh visuals. Here you need to select the table and from here you have to copy the query and then you have to come to Power Automate flow and here you have to paste this query. One changes I have applied now for this demo. So here by default it was 501 but I applied 10. So for now I will extracting 10 records only so that it will be execute quickly, so you can keep it as is or you can change it based on your requirement. But there are certain limitation as well that I will discuss after some time. In the next step, I am adding a action get file content and here I am selecting my SharePoint address from this drop down. So you can see this is my SharePoint. Let me come here and in file identifier I select the template file. So here you can click on this folder and from here you have to come to share documents. Then here you have to select your template. Now one of the important things to know how we can define the template. So I already opened the template and here you can see I created the headers for which I required the data for now, like category, product name, region, country, segment, ship mode, net sales, net profit, shipping cost, profit margin. But if you come to the report, you might have certain additional columns like state, city. For now, I don't require those. So that's why in the template, I didn't define those. So here you need to define those columns which you want in your Excel. After defining your headers, you have to select your data and convert it into a table. So you have to come to insert and click on table. Then you have to define a table name. So here you can see I defined the table name as data. This you have to remember. Now I applied certain conditional formatting. In net sales, if I come to home tab and here if I come to conditional formatting and then if I come to manage rules, so here you can see I applied a conditional formatting that if the sale value is more than 100, it will highlight in green fill. Similarly, in net profit, I highlighted it in red if the value is less than 0. In shipping cost, I applied certain icon sets and in profit margin, I applied data bar. So in conditional formatting, you have all those options. So based on your requirement, you can apply the conditional formatting. And as we already knew that in this table, whatever formatting we defined, it will apply that formatting in each rows when we add any new row inside this table. So here we created the template and stored it inside the SharePoint. Let me come to the flow again. So here in get file content, before defining this file identifier, you have to create the template. In a next step, you are creating a new file based on this content. So basically, it will create a copy of your template in this create file action. Here also we define the site address. So this is my site address. I have selected it from the drop down. I define the path. So here you can see I selected shared document, then global superstore data. Let me come to the SharePoint and here you can see I have a folder for global superstore data. So all the new files will be created inside this folder. So in this section, it will create a copy of this template and stored it here. Then I put a name. So for now I put the name new report and here I am putting a Power Automate expression called UTC now so that in each run my file name should be different and at last I put dot xlsx. This is the extension. In file content, I pass the body from my previous action. So if you come here from dynamic content, you have to select this one. This will come as body. After this, I put certain delay because as we are creating a new file and it will be stored in cloud, so it's always advisable to put certain delay. So here I put a delay of 10 seconds. Then in this step, I create an action called select and here this is my dynamic content and this will come from my Power BI query step. So this one. first table rows. And in map, I define all the columns those are available inside my template in the first column, and in next I put this formula for each column. Like for category, I put the formula called item parenthesis open close question mark, then global superstore, this is my table name, and category, this is my column name. Similarly, for product name, everything will be same. My column name will be product name. For the measures like net sales, net profit, I define like this. Item parenthesis open close question mark, then my measure name inside this bracket. Next, we have to add an action for apply to each loop, and here we'll pass the output of our select statement. So here also we come and select this from my dynamic content. Inside apply to each, we will add an action called add a row into a table. And here in location, we'll select the location from this drop down. So this is basically our SharePoint site. In document library, we need to select document. In file, here I have to come, and here you can pass the dynamic content called path. So basically it will identify the file that we saved in our previous step. And in table, here we just put our table name. And in row, inside curly brackets, we have to define the column names like category, and then colon, and within double quote we have to define this Power Automate formula. Items within single quote, apply to each question mark, then category. It is coming from select statement. In select statement, we define this as category like here. Similarly, for product name, we define product name, and we define all the columns like this only. Lastly, I just put the curly bracket close. At last, after apply to each, I add an action for delete a row. So as you remember, once we create the template and once you converted it into a table, basically it will create a blank row. And to identify it, I just manually put test against the first column. So basically it will start adding records from row number 3. So that's why we need to remove the row number 2, that is the first row of our table. So in this section we are doing the same. We select the location, that is my SharePoint site. Then this is my folder document. Here we are putting the file path. This is my table name data. I select the column from here category, and then as in category we have test, I put here test, and then we are ready to go. So let me run this flow again. So I click on test automatically with a recent trigger, and let me select any trigger and start my test. Here you can see my flow started running. It started running and soon it will generate a file. So this approach works best for small to medium datasets because Excel online actions in Power Automate can become slow with large datasets and may face performance or timeout issue. Practically writing more than around 5,000 row can increase execution time and affect the flow reliability. So if you need to write records less than 5,000, then you can go with this approach, or even if you have higher than 5,000, we need to run different batches then. Our flow has been executed, so we have to come to our SharePoint Then let me open the global superstore data, and here let me refresh this page. So here you can see a new report has been generated. You need to open it. So here you can see we have the records, and also the conditional formatting has been applied and the dummy row has been deleted. So that's how you can automatically formatted Excel report generation using Power BI, Power Automate, Excel and SharePoint. This is one of the most practical automation techniques for enterprise reporting solutions. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching. Subscribe our channel, hit the like button and press the bell icon for the new video alerts.